Now take a look at this person's face. Would you say the three facial zones are relatively balanced? Try this. Pull the hair all the way back to fully reveal the forehead. Then, measure from the hairline to the eyebrows. From the eyebrows to the bottom of the nose, and from there to the chin. Do those sections look roughly equal in size? Do they feel harmonious to you? Yes, they do. So, someone with well-balanced facial proportions, what we call three harmonious zones, and with what's known as the 5 peaks coming together, tends to have strong favorable features. These 5 peaks refer to the prominent areas of the face: the forehead, nose, cheekbones, and chin. Basically, anywhere the bone structure naturally rises is considered a peak. When all 5 are well defined and appear to gently align toward the center of the face, that's a sign of balance and inner strength. It means they all converge toward one central point, the nose, which is the dominant feature. So when you look at these 5 peaks and they feel balanced and in sync with each other, that's what we call 3 harmonious zones and the 5 peaks aligned. Got the picture? Now take a look at this person. Do their eyebrows and eyes look gentle or harsh? Gentle. Are the whites and blacks of the eyes clear or dull? Clear and well defined. Do they have big ears and a broad face? Fairly so. Yes. And does their face look kind and warm or cunning? It looks kind and full of warmth. So with a face like this, balanced features and the 5 peaks harmoniously aligned, this person is likely to enjoy lifelong good fortune. But what's special is, their luck comes with a gentle, peaceful nature. They're not the type to be harsh or domineering. They don't yell at others. At most they might speak a bit firmly, but never in a hurtful way. Mostly, they encourage and uplift the people around them. So anyone who marries this person will never have to worry about being scolded. If anything, they'll be the one doing the scolding. That's just how gentle he is. But make no mistake, he's smart. Those big ears are a sign of that. Now, if there's one small shortcoming, it's the nose. It's not particularly prominent, more like average to slightly above average. But overall, everything else is well balanced. People like him are the kind who carry good fortune throughout their entire life. Truly, a life full of luck. Alright, now take a look at the image on the right. You can see the forehead is defined, the cheekbones are there, and the chin is noticeable too. But what about the nose? It's flat, isn't it? This is the kind of nose where, if someone cried, the tears could slide straight down from the eyes to the cheeks without being stopped by the bridge. That's what we call a flat nose. The nose represents willpower, and a flat nose often signals someone who gets excited easily, but loses interest just as fast. They might start something with a lot of enthusiasm, but after a week or two they give up. That's what we call quick to crave, quick to quit. A trait tied to a flat nose. Now look at this mouth. Does it seem more like the kind that gives compliments or the kind that scolds people? It scolds, right? You can tell. But why is that? It's not just because the mouth turns downward. Some people have a similar downturned mouth, but still look very kind and pleasant. Others with the same shape give off a much harsher, more uncomfortable vibe. That's why we have to sense the energy, the aura a person gives off. Just feel it. This kind of mouth, it gives the impression of someone who often criticizes or scolds others. And when someone already lacks willpower, and on top of that tends to be harsh or hurtful with their words, over time their blessings fade. People stop supporting them. So that's how we start to read someone's character, just by observing. And if we want to help them, the first step is guiding them to speak more kindly. Teach them to see the good in others, to speak with warmth, instead of always pointing out the negative. The second thing, have them learn martial arts, take on challenging tasks, or do volunteer work. These things build willpower. And once that inner strength grows, the problems fade. With a face like this, the two main things to heal are the nose and the mouth. Work on those and you'll see a change. Then, as you spend more time with them, you can observe what else starts to show through. From just looking at their facial features, you can immediately spot the two key issues that need work. And those two are the very clues that unlock their character through face reading. This person already has a good forehead and cheekbones. Those are solid. So the areas to improve are the nose and the mouth. And by improve, we're talking about personality and behavior, not cosmetic surgery or getting a nose job. Eyebrows and eyes, they need to show clarity with distinct whites and blacks, a sharp and intelligent gaze, and most importantly, a sense of calm. Some people have bright, lively eyes, but they carry a restless energy that leans toward a warrior's temperament. But when the brightness is calm and steady, it reflects the qualities of a strategist, a thinker. And when the eyes are not just bright, but deeply calm, then you're looking at either a sage or a scholar. A meditation master is calm because of deep inner training. A scholar, on the other hand, is calm because they spend years immersed in experiments. One experiment alone might take 5 years. They hardly interact with anyone, not because they want to be isolated, but because the nature of their work demands deep, quiet focus. Now we come to the lower zones of the face. Here are the cheekbones. We'll get to those in a bit. But for now, notice these nasolabial lines or laugh lines running down from the nose. You can clearly see how they curve down along the sides of the face. These nasolabial lines, those creases that show up when you smile, right around the mouth, everyone has them. When you smile, they naturally appear. But if these lines curve inward, disappearing into the mouth, that's considered a sign of hardship, a face associated with poverty or even starvation in traditional face reading. Personally, I've never met anyone who actually died of starvation, so I haven't seen it myself, just going by what the old texts say. But here's an interesting contrast. If someone opens their mouth and sticks out their tongue, and there's a red mole inside, that's considered the mark of a ruler, a king's fate. On the flip side, when the nasolabial lines curve inward into the mouth, it's said to resemble a snake crawling into a cave. In face reading, these lines are symbolically referred to as the snake, and when the snake hides, it signals misfortune. But if there's a red mole inside the mouth, then the snake turns into a dragon. This is called 2 dragons vying for a pearl. That's the mark of someone destined to be an emperor. Of course, I've never met an emperor myself, let alone asked one to open his mouth, so I can't confirm it firsthand. That's the thing. Without real cases to study, these stories remain legends, just old tales to take as food for thought. Nothing more, nothing less. Now take a look at the mouth. There are all kinds of shapes. Downturned mouths, upturned mouths, all mixed in. See here. You've got some mouths that curve downward, some that stretch straight across. And then there's the upturned type, like an open boat. Those really lift when someone smiles. When they laugh, the corners of the mouth turn up clearly. According to face reading, an upturned mouth is considered more favorable than a downturned one. That's what the tradition says. But to me, it's also simple. An upturned mouth usually means the person smiles often, while a downturned mouth suggests someone who carries sadness, someone who tends to press their lips together, whose mouth naturally droops because they often hold heavy emotions inside. But in my view, that's just the outer appearance. What really matters, the most important thing about the mouth, is what comes out of it. When someone speaks, does their voice carry strength? Is it clear and resonant? Is it warm and grounded or refined and uplifting? That's what truly reveals a person's inner quality. Not just the shape of their lips, but the energy in their words. And finally, what really defines someone's verbal presence? It's the tone and substance of what they say. What kind of message are they putting out into the world? If all that comes from their mouth is crude language, cursing, or nonsense, then that kind of speech energy is empty. It holds no real value. So even if someone's mouth doesn't look particularly attractive, but every word they speak is kind, thoughtful, and full of reason, that's still a beautiful mouth. On the other hand, someone might have perfectly shaped lips, elegantly made up, even with a little heart-shaped pout. But if within a few sentences they come off rude or tactless, then all that beauty is meaningless. It's wasted. When it comes to age, here's something to remember. From ages 31 to 34, that stage of life is reflected in the eyebrows. Just keep it simple. Think of it like this: 30 to 35, 35 to 40, 40 to 50. After 50, we don't really count. It's the aging phase. And before 30, we don't read much either, aside from the forehead. That's the only area worth noting in the early years. So what do we look at before 30? The forehead. A smooth, well-shaped forehead is a good sign, but if it's bumpy, scarred, or uneven, that's not favorable. And wrinkles, if they're neat and balanced, that's a good thing. But if they're messy, crooked, all over the place, then it's not. Simple as that. That's how we read it. Beautiful eyebrows are a good sign, but if the eyebrows are broken or disconnected, that's not favorable. These days, though, with women shaving off their natural brows completely, you can't really read them anymore. Totally helpless. If you can't read the eyebrows, then look at the eyes. And the bone structure beneath the brows. If the brow bone angles upward, chances are their natural eyebrows would follow that same upward tilt. And then, of course, pay attention to the eyes themselves. Do they carry a gentle look or a fierce one? If the eyebrows look fierce but the eyes are gentle, you still count it as gentle. But if the eyebrows seem soft and kind, yet the eyes are sharp and intense, then that's considered fierce, because the eyes carry the spirit, the root energy. Eyebrows are just surface features. The eyes reveal what's underneath, and that carries more weight. When the 3 facial zones are balanced and the 5 peaks are in harmony, it means the features are proportionate and well aligned. People with this kind of face often enjoy a life of ease, fortune, and lasting blessings. In short, they're born under a lucky star, rarely needing to worry about basic needs like food or clothing throughout their lives. So pay attention. Anyone with a well-balanced face where the 3 zones are in harmony, try this. Quit your job tomorrow. Go home and just lie around for a week. You'll see, you won't starve. Friends will show up to check on you, family will drop by. Someone will even shove money into your hands and insist you spend it. That's the kind of luck they carry. Go ahead and try it. If your face is truly balanced, you'll see what I mean. Here's an example. This gentleman here has a fairly balanced face. Come on up and be our model. And this lady too, her features are well balanced. Come on, stand up so everyone can take a look. Yes, that's right. Come on up. Let's see clearly. Anyone with distinct features, come closer so everyone can observe. See, take this face for example. Since her hair is already tied up, her forehead is fully visible. Later, when you do this yourselves, work in groups of 6. One person will be the model. Pull the hair all the way back to reveal the forehead. Then the person across from them will start measuring and observing. To measure, use your own hand. There are a few ways, but one simple method is to see how many fingers fit across each facial zone. For example, with her forehead pulled back like this, you can see it's about 4 fingers wide. If you add this part here, it makes about 5 fingers. That's the forehead. Then this section is about 4 fingers, maybe 3.5 to 4. So for this person, the upper zone is a bit more dominant in terms of area. It's slightly larger than the others. By the way, did you have any work done on your nose?
Yes.
Was it much flatter before?
Just a little bit.
Just a slight change. So why did you get it done? Now look, when she smiles, her cheekbones really pop, right? Normally they don't stand out that much, but the moment she smiles, they become more prominent. See that? So looking at her middle zone and upper zone, her upper zone is strong. In the middle zone, the cheekbones stand out, but that's partly because the nose has been enhanced. If her nose had been naturally shaped like this, it would have been impressive. For a woman to have these features naturally, that's rare. Truly rare. Her eyebrows have been redrawn so they're no longer accurate. You can see they've been shaped to angle upward, but that's not their natural form. They probably used to slope downward a bit. Still angled up? You plucked them? Ah, that explains it. She plucked them to create that upward arch. So how old are you this year?
I'm 36.
36, already married with kids. All right. That means your tendency is to boss your husband around. The roles are reversed. You're playing the husband's role, and he's playing yours. So you're basically the head of the household?
Yes, that's right.
There you go. See what I mean? So when a woman takes on the dominant role in the household, the husband usually falls into one of two situations. Either he has a high tolerance and can handle it well, or he feels trapped and suppressed. And if that feeling of being trapped goes on for too long, it can lead to emotional distress. And in face reading, that's a woman whose energy unintentionally brings hardship to her husband. And if that emotional burden becomes too heavy, it can lead to what's known in face reading as being harmful to one's spouse, where the wife's energy unintentionally causes emotional or spiritual harm to the husband. But a little adjustment can make all the difference. Just soften your tone, bring more warmth, like Thatcher. She was a powerhouse in public, a warrior out in the world, but at home she could still be tender and kind. That balance, it's something you can practice.
In my work life, I'm his boss.
Oh man, that's even tougher. He's got a boss 24/7, not just for 8 hours a day.
I'd just like to share a little something with everyone about this role reversal idea I mentioned earlier with the teacher. Even when we had just started dating, I already saw it this way. I wasn't looking for someone to fall in love with. I was looking for the future father of my children. So in our work life, we clearly divide roles. I'm the boss at work. He's part of my team. And when we're on the job, no arguing allowed. I mean, sure, you can speak up, but it has to be in the right context. In the meeting room, you're welcome to share opinions, offer counterpoints. But arguing outside of that, that's not okay. But in front of the team, there's no arguing back and forth. At home, of course, I take the back seat. He's the head of the household.
You sure about that?
Absolutely.
I'm not so sure. Sounds a bit suspicious. I'd have to meet him in person to really know. How old is he this year?
He's the same age as me.
Same age, huh? Does he have a lot of wrinkles around his eyes?
No, he's lighthearted. Like a kid, really.
Ah, that's good. When someone has that childlike spirit, that natural ability to let things go, it really helps in a relationship.
We made a pact. Whenever we get too angry, the two of us will practice BKJ, Budoshinkai Karate Jitsu, to release that energy. It's a way to reset. Whoever shows better skill in that moment, then we both sit down and actually listen to each other. When both people are bursting to talk and can't stop, well, we've got a few ways to work through that too.
So, do you actually use that often?
Yeah, all the time. This martial art is amazing. It doesn't just train your body, it works on your mind and spirit too.
So wait, every time you're mad you fight each other? Not like full-on sparring with gloves or anything? Oh, so just doing a BKJ is enough to calm down?
Exactly. This style focuses on using softness and technique to overcome brute force. So just practicing together helps us let all that tension go.
So basically, when you're mad, you both do a kata for like 30 minutes, get worn out, and forget what you were arguing about. That's actually genius. I like that move. All right. This person's 3 facial zones are fairly balanced overall. The nose has been slightly enhanced, but it's not a big change. Now those prominent cheekbones? That usually signals high ambition, setting big goals and wanting a lot out of life. But sometimes just lowering those expectations a bit can actually lead to more happiness.
I'll admit, I can be very ambitious, greedy even. As a woman stepping out into the world, running a business, taking the lead, It means there are a lot of people behind me who've had to sacrifice for me. They say behind every successful man is a woman, but in my case, it's not just one person. There are many people behind me who've given something up so I could move forward.
So how do you show gratitude to the people who've sacrificed for you? Put them on an altar and light some incense once in a while. By the way, how many people are on your team?
12.
Just 12? That's barely a dozen.
Well, it's because I don't believe in growing a company too large. I work in a creative field. I'm an architect. So when the project scales up, my role is to support my collaborators. To me, everyone in the same industry is a partner, not a competitor. That's why these connections become incredibly valuable for me in every project.
That's a powerful mindset. If kids were taught that from a young age, the world would be a much better place. Seeing everyone in your field as collaborators instead of competitors, that's a rare perspective. It's not easy to develop, you gotta train for it. You have to be raised with that idea. Otherwise, people grow up thinking business is war, not a space to support one another, work together, and share resources. All right then, tomorrow, go ahead and hand in your resignation. Take a month off. Just lie in bed and see how many people come to take care of you. That's how you'll know whether you truly carry that kind of fortune. It's a test to see if a life of ease and abundance, free from worry about food or money, is really in your destiny. Because if you don't believe in face reading, then the only way to find out is to experiment on yourself. That's one way to test whether you have the balanced 3 zones of the face or not.